Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Oreo Brewer is back, but this time we're not talking Marvel. We're not talking DC. We are talking Dark Horse comics, films, and shows. Who's with me?
I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Warning. The following contains heated discussion, controversial movie geeks' opinions, and hot takes. These are their rankings.
Alrighty, so yeah, just anything that is based off some kind of Dark Horse comic book. Some of it's a little subjective because they're technically movies that were licensed to Dark Horse, but I'll go with it. So, the movies and shows, I am ranking a 4 out of 5. I am ranking a 4 out of 5. Dark Matter, Resident Alien, Umbrella Academy, Tank Girl, and Mystery Men.
Nice.
So the 3 out of 5s, the imperfect but okay popcorn movies. I'm going to go with Hellboy 04 and 2019 versions, R.I.P.D., Amazing Screw-On Head animation, the Time Cop films and shows, Barbed Wire, The Mask,
Nice.
300 in the prequel film, Virus, Sin City 1 and 2, and R.I.P.D. Here's where we're really getting controversial, but I could not make it through some of these movies. So the 2 out of 5s are American Splendor, G-Men from Hell, and 30 Days of Night films. I cannot stand these vampire films. And the 1s out of 5s, no zeros, unlike we had with DC and Marvel. I'm going to go with the 1s out of 5s are Hellboy 2 and the cartoon movies. These just did not hold up. They just did not have
Hellboy 2, really?
they don't have any plot. They really don't.
I love Golden Orange. That was good.
I'm sure many do because of the fights, but it's pretty bland outside of that, out of the effects. And then there's Polar, the Netflix Hitman film with Mads Mikkelsen. This one was just like, what is the whole purpose? Just endless shots, not leading anywhere. And then Son of the Mask, I think, well, no, I take it back. Son of the Mask is a 0 out of 5. But Dr. Giggles, now that, I'm sorry, this one has just, its tone is all over the place, and it's just not well filmed. And I get that many like it because of its, whether you can take it as a trashy or satirical kind of horror film. I'm just bored. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. I'm going to let you handle it from here.
3 Days a Night was interesting to me.
Yeah, I get that many like it in a near dark Blade kind of way. I just don't like the CGI gore, and it just, the whole cast just seems like they're doing it for a paycheck. So it's just very annoying to me. I know many like it in kind of a Thing and Die Hard kind of way where a town is taken over and what have you, but I've tried 3 times to watch the goddamn film, and the sequel was just one of those where I'm like, man, they really didn't care.
They did do a sequel.
It's watchable in a trashy B-movie way, but each time I keep looking for the full moon entertainment symbol. I'll let you rank them.
Well, I'll go with the ones I've seen, starting at the bottom and then work my way up.
There we go. From the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top.
Right. So I got 23 on the list, but 5 of them I ain't seen yet. So at 18, I got 300 Rise of an Empire. I liked it, but it wasn't as good as the first one. Or I think it did better, but not very. And then I got R.I.P.D., which is basically like off-brand Ghostbusters, but it's still good shit. It's just not as good. Next, I got Sin City, a Dame to Kill For. I liked it, but it not as good as the extended version. Yeah. Like, I watched the recut version of the first one. That was really fucking good.
Is it more like they put it in chronological order, like Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, they did the same thing with Dr. Sleep, too. Yeah. After that, next I got AVP Requiem. Oh, God.
Oh, I love trash.
I love that. I like the film, but the fucking teen plot could have fucking left. And the dialogue is so handheld. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to be here." I'm like, "Really?" Like the teen plot was so bad.
Yeah, without the gal being from 24, Raiko doing her best, Ripley, there's really nothing. I liked her way better than Sonda Lathan, who was doing the whole fuck you. It's like, nah, you ain't Ripley.
True. I got Tank Girl. I got to rewatch her because I haven't watched it in years. But I did like it at first, and I didn't really get to appreciate it, I guess. So it's at 14 right now, but it might go up, so I don't know. Then I got Time Cop 13. Jean-Claude Van Damme's fun, but even all his shit's the same formula.
It isn't? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I prefer the direct-to-video sequel my own self because then I get to see direct-to-video action legend Thomas Ian Griffith as the bad guy.
It's like he's like the Tom Cruise of the 80s. Oh, God. Like, the best Jean-Claude Van Damme film is Cyborg. Easily Cyborg. I love that fucking
Only if it's the director's cut.
Yes, I love that fucking film. Oh my God, I love that thing. It's so good. Oh, then I got AVP, the original, but I like the unrated version because it adds in more
There's
stuff.
an unrated version of RIPD?
No, AVP.
AVP, yes. AVP's unrated cut, yes. Way better. Yes. You get a more complete story and just different edits, and it feels and looks it.
Yeah, definitely. And then after that, I got Mystery Men in 11. I haven't seen that in a while. It's good from what I remember, but we'll see. And then number 10, I got Hellboy, Blood and
Iron. Yeah, the animated films, they got okay animation, but their stories are kind of just the same thing. I think my main issue is I then read the comics after I saw the movies, and I was like, the comics are just so much more wacky. They're more like a Joe Dante, Sam Raimi movie.
Number 9, I got 3.
In the cartoons, and he just goes around basically going, "Oh, crap," and then takes out a gun finally.
Yep. Yeah, number 9, I got 300.
This is Gerard Butler's tour de force intro.
Basically. At number 8, I have The Mask.
Nice.
Yeah. I like The Mask. It's good. It's just, it doesn't come off like looking back in retrospect, doesn't come off like a comic. But now that I've seen so many comic films, and now that it's, the comic book era, I'll
definitely, I vaguely recall my father watching it with my mother and my uncle, and it was one of those, it was just like Dumb and Dumber. You could see parts of it without having to be, or Twister, just see parts of it without having to be told to leave the room, and I was too young to really make sense of any of it. But I know my sister rented it years later. Once again, it was one of those, just like, it's harmless fun, but I was also confused at the same time because, much like Batman, there was a cartoon show of it on at around the same time. And
that's right.
And Chuck Russell was just one of those, Nightmare on Elm Street, Free, Scorpion King, and Eraser. He was the go-to for just outrage. And the Blob remake, just do a genre picture and just do a very wacky movie. And it is one of those, it's one of those, you've seen it, there's no need to really re-see it, but there are just some other bloopers here and there that is kind of the reason why you can see why it's a giant cold hit. And just the cast definitely made it even more charismatic and just an atypical movie.
Mm-hmm. It's a 90s staple. It's like, you go back, it's perfect.
Yeah, we wouldn't have the Jim Carrey that we had later on. We wouldn't have had Cam Diaz. We wouldn't have had even Peter Green from Pulp Fiction that same year. Go-to bad guy there temporarily.
Yep. Let's see. 7, is Hellboy, and I love the director's cut for Hellboy. That's my favorite one to watch.
Yeah, it definitely builds on it better. I dug it, especially in high school when it came out. I was 14, and it was just so much fun. And I actually have the Blu-ray for the newer one, which everyone hates on, but I took it as more of a fun Constantine, Lucifer, Wishmaster type film. I found it way closer to the comic.
Yeah, it's a prequel. Everybody's like, this is a direct sequel. Like, no, it's a prequel.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. And everyone was just so like, they were like, you're so biased, you're so mean. I'm like, look at your tweets. You were going to hate this before it even came out. And,
I know.
And no amount of the director being pushed out by Millennium Films is going to change my mind. I mean, this is Millennium Films. They're making canon and Expendables type movies. And that's kind of what Hellboy needed, in my opinion. I'm like, yeah, you open up with a Mexican remix of Rocky Like a Hurricane by the Scorpions. I am so down for the count. This is a stoner movie. This is a hard rock, metal, and kind of film. And I was just like, okay. But I seriously could not tell. I mean, yes, there was a professional production assistant who was like, oh, you know, I didn't realize the role was for a Chinese character. It was like, okay, well, fuck that guy, but at least he got fired. Don't blame that on anyone else.
Actually, Ed stepped down. That's what that was. Like, Ed bowed out of the role so Daniel could take over the role. Like, either way, I would have taken either one of them in the role. I don't really care. Because I looked at it, I was like, yeah, Ed could have played the character. I wouldn't have minded. I wouldn't have really given a shit. But, you know, at the same time, Daniel did a hell of a good job, too.
Yeah, he definitely stole the movie. The other gal was just badass. And just the whole process. I liked how I was like, going, who is that mysterious agent? Oh, that's Thomas Hayden Church. And it was just the whole time you're just going on a giant mystery ride. And like you say, I mean, David Harbour's been acting for years. Yeah, you look at his whole resume, it's endless TV guest spots, but it was also one of those where I was like, I thought when starting it, I'm like, yeah, this is Ron Perlman. I'm like, no, it's not, but it might as well be. They did a hell of a job with the makeup and
for real.
His copying of him. I mean, I think everyone was just already trying to boycott it before it came out, and I was just like, I mean, it is like, the whole Patton Oswalt sit down wasn't enough. Come on.
And then at 6, I got Hellboy 2, The Golden Army.
Okay.
I love that film. It's so
Luke Goss is really good as the villain. I just there's just very little plot. It's like slapstick humor and everything, and it just annoys the shit out of me. But Seth MacFarlane is very funny in it. I will say that.
And then at 5, I got Hellboy, Sword of Storms.
Okay.
I couldn't remember which of them I liked the most, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Sword of Storms."
Yeah, they came out like back to back on Cartoon Network. It was like, okay.
Yeah, and now I own them on 4K. Actually,
they're on 4K.
Yes, I actually had the Blu-ray for both of them, but there were no subtitles. So I waited a while and found a 4K edition of
subtitles.
I need my caps. I grew up with closed captioning all my life. It's actually how I developed my dialogue and my vocabulary so well, because I watched the X-Files with caps, and man,
nice.
Yeah, like, oh, it's so nice. I'm like, yeah, I'm learning words. And then at 4, I got the original Sin City. I love that film.
It's very badass.
Yeah. And it's one of those I'll never own. I love it, but I don't want to own it. And then at 3, I got Hellboy 2019.
Cool.
Yeah, I love that movie. That was so good. Oh, so much fun to go.
It seems like whenever anyone makes a movie where you're having to remind them, hey, just stop giving a fuck for just one day.
Exactly.
And I think that's just it. Like, everyone wants a movie a certain way, and I don't know what it is about Dark Horse. I see so many of them being hated on, and it makes you wonder if it's just corporate media. going to town. I'm like, it doesn't have to be by Marvel or DC to be good.
Exactly. That's the problem. People expect
The Crow's not
DC.
based on a major label, for fuck's sake. That's like
No.
Imagine or whatever comics.
Image comic. Yeah, people expect Marvel and DC quality, and when they don't get that, they bitch and cry and whine and bash it and like grow up.
They're worse than Halloween and Star Wars fans.
I know some Star Wars fans. Shit.
I do too. And it's just like they just want to argue till the sun sets. I'm like, I get that you grew up with this. This doesn't mean you speak for everyone. In fact, just stop now. You don't speak for anybody.
I know, it's so dumb. And number 2, I got Virus. Love that film.
I just love how the black guy just keeps making a just nonstop joke. He's like, nope, not today. This is when so many horror movies is like they weren't necessarily ripping off Scream, but they're just like just always acknowledging the genre's faults. Just like, nope, not today. Fuck you, not today.
And plus, it was different because it doesn't act like a comic book film. It's just a horror film.
I didn't know for the longest time it was based on a comic. It was one of those like I want to check it out, and I will definitely have to do that because I mean, I just love it so much. But it was also one of those where it's like, yeah, I mean, Chuck Farrar, former Navy SEAL, writer of movies like Hard Target, he based it off his own comic book, and I think a lot of more people are just more familiar with the Jamie Lee Curtis quote saying, "Oh, I knew it was bad before it came out." I'm like, oh, whatever. Done way worse.
True. And then number 1, I got Barbed Wire.
Yeah, it's another one. Just turn the volume off and enjoy the explosions. It's fucking stupid. The acting isn't there. But did you expect the acting to be good? That's the other thing too. I mean, I will take it over some trash like, I don't know, Barbarella or Logan's Run. And it's like, no, take this one. Take it.
It's like I didn't expect shit with it. Like I watched it twice in my life. Second rewatch, it actually got better because I was so surprised by the budget. Like the budget's so small, and they did so much on that budget. And yet they weren't even trying to be a comic book film. They were just doing it. And I actually read up on Barbed Wire. And I was like, damn, she actually embodies the whole comic book character herself.
Yeah, it was always going to be essentially a Michael Bay type movie with an Andy Sedaris, Russ Meyer type of mentality. Is like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And like you say, it did have some pretty cool stunts. That was like one of the earlier movies. I always was going to see it one way or another, just because Jango Fett actor Tamora Morrison was in it. But it's interesting in that how, like you say, is tight budget. They hired a stunt coordinator, second unit director to helm it. He had done like some second unit directing on Batman Forever, and after this, he then did Most Wanted, the Keanu Ivory Wayans, John Voight, French sniper movie. Fun movie.
Yeah.
One hell of a cast. Paul Sorvino, Eric Roberts, Joel Hennessy. This is like, damn. What a time.
Yep. Yeah. That's one thing I like about different comic books too, is that the different companies, everybody's so stuck on the upper echelon of heroes and villains, and a lot of them don't give a fuck about the bottom area.
They really are like the characters in Wanted and Red, where it's just like, ethics? What ethics? This is just live action Looney Tunes. This is what this is. But yeah, I think with Resident Alien and Dark Matter both being incredibly successful, I think they're going to just start doing they just realize with the success of stuff like The Mandalorian and even the Halo TV show, it's like just do it in 9 to 12 episodes and just blow people's minds and then make them talk about it on social media for days.
I haven't seen Resident Alien or Dark Matter. don't know. I don't really watch a lot of cable, honestly.
Oh well, that's the beauty. I couldn't keep up with Dark Matter when it was on. I saw it after the fact on Sci-Fi Channel, or not Sci-Fi Channel, on Netflix. And Resident you can see currently on Sci-Fi, and it is pretty funny. It's just very wacky. Like, imagine if Invasion of the Body Snatchers was kind of a just like the alien was just going around trying to adjust and failing to do so, and you're just laughing at the dark humor.
Yeah.
It had an
like I saw
atypical cast.
some snippets, but I didn't really care for it.
Yeah, seeing a clip from it won't do any justice, and at the same time, it's just kind of fun just because no one takes it all that seriously, and that's kind of the fun of it. It was just cool seeing Linda Hamilton again.
Yeah. That's a shame her sister died.
I didn't.
Yeah, that was her twin died last decade, or it was earlier this decade. I can't remember which year, but yeah, her twin passed away.
Wow.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, shit, that was some crazy CGI. Like, oh, that's her fucking twin.
The T-1000 double back in the day is like, yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, God.
Oh, God is right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, any others? It's just pretty decent and solid. It's just...
I'd say Dark Horse is kind of underrated compared to, like, Image and stuff.
Yeah, because Imagine, you got Spawn and The Crow, and is like, with Dark Horse, is like they were kind of going for more of the Batman 89 Blade crowd, just kind of just all that grit, and a lot of the movies pretty relatively just easygoing popcorn that was never going to get anything above like a 40% on a review site, and I think Mystery Men, you can definitely say, is the most successful one. But yeah, nowadays, kind of like how people are with like the prequels, Star Wars versus the sequel trilogy. I'm kind of like that way with just Alien versus Predator, where I'm just like, I'd rather watch these movies because I knew going in they were going to be Godzilla versus King Kong type slugfest. I didn't think that they were going to be OG classics. I didn't think. I mean, what do you expect by a movie that's by the guy who directed Mortal Kombat? It's just...
Oh, God, that reminds me of Annihilation with the fight between Raiden and what's his name?
You Will Die. Yeah.
No. It was so funny because the entire fight was just them swing kicking each other, and it was the stunt double the whole time.
Oh, I bet.
It was so funny. I'm like, really?
Yeah, they don't know how to fight.
I still like Annihilation, though. It's just so bad, but it's so good.
Boy.
Oh, man. Definitely.
Well, this has been fun having you on here. Well, what do you got planned for the future?
Nothing really.
On YouTube? Not.
Oh, I got an upload. I got to try to fight to get on there. Piece of shit.
Fight. YouTube banning people again. Cancel culture. YouTube style. You want to talk about any procedural or violent gangsta movie or just very messed up just film franchise? I'll have you back on.
That works.
I put you down for some that I just like, yeah, you're so huge on this. I just know I gotta have you weigh in on this.
Oh, definitely. Like shit. Like I did my what did I rank? That was fun. AVP. I ranked all them films. That was a lot of fun to go. And people were like, "This is so wrong. You can't have Predator 2 above this." I'm like, "Fuck you! Predator 2 is so damn good. How are you not seeing that?" Oh,
we might just have to do another re-ranking of the goddamn AVP saga.
Yeah, definitely.
Better yet,
like
we'll rank it Valverde style. since it's in the same universe as Blade Runner and Die Hard and Speed. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so basically they were just basically Ridley Scott's wise ass was the one who did the basically he confirmed that the evil corporation in Alien is the same one in the Blade Runner films.
Wayland. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and
that's dope.
That's so dope. And then the writer of Blade Runner also did another movie called Soldier, which was meant to be a spin-off.
Oh, I love Soldier.
There you go.
I love Soldier.
Fair enough. And
damn.
Then, of course, Valverde is the country in Predator in the comics and games. And that's the country that was in Commando, Die Hard 2, and other movies that Stephen E. D'Souza worked on. To make that even cooler, the reporter in the original Die Hard is also in the Joel Silver, D'Souza written movie Ricochet with Denzel.
I love Ricochet. That
Everybody
is underrated as hell.
It's so great. It was
so
another one of those that had like shitty ratings, and I just recall being actually seeing part of it at 6 a.m. on TNT. I saw it years later. I'm like, oh yeah, there's no way around it. This is a fucking dope movie. Just even Ice-T's one-liners at the end and the rest of the cast are just great dialogue for an action movie. And now get this, the Pacific Transport that are in Die Hard 1 and Free are also in the Speed movies. Same cinematographers and film crew. So there you go.
I got a fun fact. You know the porno pirates?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Jesse Jane, Evan Stone.
Yeah. The ship they used, I think, was the same one for the actual Disney Pirates film, or they filmed it on the same lot. I think it was either on the same lot or the same ship they used or the same location. I was like, holy shit.
I mean, it's pretty common. It seems like every other person who even talks about LA is like they'll rent out studio rooms and film shoots to other third-party companies, and a lot of times it will be companies like that, and you'll have to make sure I just went to the wrong room, my bad.
Yeah, it was like I think it was the weekend before. I think they filmed it in a weekend before the Disney Pirates was getting ready to be filmed, I think.
I'm sure they filmed 20 different scenes in one day.
Yeah, because it has at that time it had the most sex scenes in one film. Yeah.
Story.
Story. Good story. Fucking Evan Stone, who's a great mighty pirate hunter.
You are. I remember that Twitter post he made years ago. I think it was like 2015-16, where he's like, that moment when you realize you were on the Lord of the Rings parody episode of South Park. That's him on the tape that they play. I'm like, that's funny.
I love Evan Stone. He cracks me the fuck up.
Yeah, I tried to interview him a few times. You should totally play Superman before he hangs it up. Just be like,
oh god, that'd be beautiful to see.
Hell,
Lois, I love you.
We could. There you go. We could rate the DC Marvel parodies, if you get my meaning.
Oh yeah, I've seen them. They're funny as shit.
I'm sorry.
Just don't swallow, Lois. Don't swallow. Okay, I won't.
They've done parodies of so many other shows that are just funny. The Iron Man Free one was great. That had Del DeBone. That was funny. As far as I'm concerned, Romy Rain is the true Wonder Woman.
What did I watch of him or Evan? I saw like the short, like 5-minute clip of him as Hulk Hogan. That shit.
Oh my god!
Like, really? He's Hulk Hogan now? Okay.
Oh man.
Oh, shit.
I will have to check it out. I did see him in the Free Stooges parody. That was great.
Oh, God.
You know your God's done something right when Howard Stern is the critical blurb that you put on the cover.
Oh, that reminds me of Private Parts. That was a good film, but that was so dumb, too.
That dude should have been a superhero. And I'm not talking the fart pants.
Yeah. I remember watching the Howard Stern show on E back in 2000. Holy shit. They did a lot of shit under a TV 14 banner. Jesus.
Yeah, this is it. Just like any of the other comedy shows, just censor everything out and take it out.
But like the one episode that I remember vividly is the one where, and this is when they almost got turned off completely. There were so many times.
When hasn't he been read the riot act?
Yeah, this one he had a guy come on who had lost an eye. and Howard's like, let me see your eye, and he pops the fake eye. I was like, oh God, that's so fucking creepy, but it's so cool. And then he's like, oh, how much money would you take if you let my friend stick his dick in the eye socket? I'm like, what? And they were getting ready to do it, and Robin was like, no, you can't do that, we'll get shut off. I'm like, he was gonna stick his dick in that eye socket. He's like, no, we'll put a condom on the dick, it'll be all right. Really?
Just had to do it.
I'm like, fuck me. I'm like, really?
Oh God. Everybody's a superhero nowadays, and that's what we like about Dark Horse. Is like anybody can be a superhero.
Yep. And that's the thing about the other labels, is that they don't really focus on
taking it seriously.
Yeah,
just going for gritty.
Yeah.
Oh, the copyright police are coming for you. Take that down. Don't talk about that. Well, we might do an Imagine Comics ranking some other time. But until then, guys, thank you for listening. This was the shortest of our episodes.
Yeah, definitely.
In comic book reviews. Yeah.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show. It's a jacked